You're watching Bermuda tonight. It's Friday, the 12th of October. I'm Jasmine Patterson, and thanks for joining us. Forced cancellations of a number of surgical procedures at the hospital's acute care wing today after the air conditioning unit serving the entire building broke down. Gary Moreno has the story on the continuing saga of problems plaguing the island's public health facilities.
If you're wondering what on earth is happening with the island's public health facilities, you probably aren't alone. Earlier this week, the Hamilton Health Facility had to be closed for repairs after staff there walked off the job citing unhealthy working conditions. Then last night, we highlighted issues affecting the maternity and children's wards housed in the 53-year-old general wing of the King Edward VII Memorial Hospital. Now come reports that surgeries were being cancelled from as early as 8 this morning due to the broken air conditioning system in the acute care wing. There were also reports of a leak on the main floor of the building. It is understood, though, a contingency plan was being looked at in the event of a major surgery needing to be performed. A source at the BHB telling us, thankfully, no such situation arose. However, the day is not yet done. So what exactly happened? Well, apologizing to patients who were impacted by a failure in the AC system in the acute care wing this morning, a spokesperson for the Bermuda Hospital's board told us unexpectedly both the main chiller unit and its backup failed, and the temperature in the ACW is now quite warm. While emergency, inpatient, CT, radiology, ultrasound, dialysis and oncology services are continuing, 14 elective surgeries out of a total of 26 were cancelled. As the MRI unit is also temperature sensitive, 14 people had their MRI tests postponed. As a result, 27 MRI people who had tests planned for over the weekend have also been postponed. The spokesperson telling us all impacted surgeries and tests will be rescheduled as soon as possible. According to the BHB, the air conditioning system is maintained by Black & McDonald as part of a public-private partnership contract, and they are working hard to have the system working again. It is hoped that the AC can be brought back online later today, and patients and the community will be updated once this is complete. It remains unclear, though, just when that will be. A BHB source telling us this only exacerbates the problem, though, of postponed elective surgeries, a situation which has been ongoing due mainly to a shortage of beds at the still relatively new acute care wing. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Another week of work-to-rule action. That's the decision taken by unionized workers at Belco following a meeting with their representative electricity supply trade union at BIU headquarters today. It is understood representatives of sister unions, which make up the Bermuda Trade Union Congress, were also on hand during the talks. The decision to continue the work-to-rule, which involves workers withholding overtime and standby services, was made, we're told, due to the impasse created by what has been described as the questionable departures from the company by a number of staff, many of them with more than 20 years service, while Belco parent company Ascendant was seeking work permits for guest workers. ESTU President Donald Lottimore was unable to speak with us today as he continues to be involved in meetings at this time. However, we did manage to get an update from Walton Brown Jr., the Minister of Home Affairs, as to what government's position is on the continuing impasse.
The government remains very disappointed with the way things have progressed, and we are too looking for a solution.
What might that solution entail, in your opinion?
Well, there are a variety of options that could be pursued, and so we'll consider the variety of options, including reinstatement of the personnel.
What are the other options on the table? Because we understand that the company is steadfast that those workers will not be reinstated.
Well, then we'll have to properly assess that decision and react accordingly.
Will the Ministry of Home Affairs be granting any further work permits for Belco employees?
Well, they're not currently being approved, so we're going to hold to that position until further notice.
Premier David Burt continuing to spread the gospel of the island's efforts to become a financial technology hub, this time in New York, where he was interviewed on the NASDAQ Spotlight by host Leanne Alfaro. Premier Burt explained why Bermuda opted to become involved in FinTech.
I think from that perspective, I think that where we're seeing certainly that the future will lie in distributed ledger technologies. It's something without question that is important. But from Bermuda's perspective, FinTech is so broad. So from the FinTech perspective, without question, we want to be the leader when it comes to InsurTech. As a country that has one of the largest insurance markets in the world, we certainly are going to see leadership there. And we're already seeing a lot of our existing companies and new entrants into the market beginning to innovate in the insurance space. And then when you talk about the digital asset space, we've done work getting started on the digital asset side, but there's a lot more work to do. So when you're talking about what the future will hold with security tokens and digitized assets, that's where we want to go. But from the Bermuda perspective, it's always laying an excellent regulatory environment to allow what we've always done in my country, and that is to innovate to solve problems for the world.
And you should definitely know about this, given that you've been an entrepreneur yourself. Now, with the work you've done so far, have you seen global attraction?
Well, absolutely. We've seen global attraction, but at the same points in time, you have to temper that optimism with the reality that there are still some challenges of which we're facing. The biggest challenge of which we're facing clearly is on the banking side, but as I said, that's not abnormal, as there are lots of countries that are facing the same unique challenge. So one of the things that we're doing here in New York, actually, was to meet with a number of banks that we're looking to try to entice into the Bermuda market who may have an appetite for these type of assets. But in addition to that, we've seen the players come in. So there's large players. We've seen other players that are looking at Bermuda. We signed a number of memorandums of understanding to work with companies to move forward. And so we're seeing investment coming from there. We see new startup companies. We've seen about over 30 companies that have already started up. There's more companies that are in the process of starting their operations in Bermuda. And so we are looking forward to what the future will hold.
And we'll have more for you after this short break, including all the latest weather news. Stay with us.
You can count on us.
Fresh Attitude salads, 5-ounce package, just $3.99 each. Fresh Purdue chicken thighs, hot price, $1.99 per pound. Kraft mayonnaise, 30-ounce jar, $5.69. Arm & Hammer laundry detergent, 75-ounce bottle, hot price, $9.79. Sargento sliced cheeses, 6.7, 8-ounce packages, hot price, $3.99. All stores open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
More people today rely on Mailboxes U.S. Express to bring their internet shopping into Bermuda than any other shipping service. Why? Because it's cheaper, quicker, and our staff are friendlier. Large international couriers charge more than $80 to bring a 1-pound package into Bermuda. When you use U.S. Express, you pay only $19.50. So when you're shopping online, trust the service that brings in more packages to Bermuda than anyone else. Mailboxes U.S. Express. Sign up today.
Surface Terms has been serving Bermuda for over 25 years, supplying and installing tile and natural stone. We have a large in-stock selection of beautiful porcelain wood planking, including our exclusive Bermuda cedar tile. You will also find Bermuda's best in-stock selection of countertops, including natural granites, exotic quartzites, and silestone engineered quartz in all the newest colors. Our team will be happy to help you. Stop by our showroom at 17 Serpentine Road or give us a call at 295-8005.
Welcome back. National Security Minister Wayne Keynes puts his foot down and says we must understand the evolution in the fintech space. Mike Sharp reports.
In reacting to the deputy opposition leader, Leah Scott, claiming that it has been quite some time and no jobs yet from fintech, Mr. Keynes said that progress will come in phases.
Over the last 3 months, we've seen the undergirding of the project with key pieces of legislation. First, we've seen the ICO legislation, this legislation around initial coin offerings. That puts in the rubric and the legal basis for us to establish and have ICOs, initial coin offerings, in Bermuda. The second piece of legislation was the DABA, or the Digital Asset Business Act. That allows for the law to put in place that governs digital asset exchanges and tokens. And the third piece of legislation was the banking legislation that the amendments to the Banking Act that puts provisions in place for people to set up bank accounts in Bermuda.
The minister said it has not been an easy process and that 3 months ago they were being accused of moving too fast.
over the last 3 months, we've seen 130 visits to Bermuda by FinTech companies, and 50 companies have come to Bermuda over 130 times. We have seen 41 companies incorporate in Bermuda, with over 50 more in the pipeline. So if you understand the incorporation process, there is a process to go to get boots on the ground. What we're seeing is that this process is in train. Companies do not incorporate in a jurisdiction if they do not plan on moving to other forms of business in the jurisdiction.
But how long before jobs are created?
The real message for Bermudians is that this is indeed a work in progress. There is a staged approach, there is a logical approach, and we've gone from no one knowing about Bermuda in the FinTech space, putting together the legislation, having the visits, 130 visits by 50 companies that have led to 41 incorporations. After the incorporations, there is a process in place that allows these companies to morph from just incorporations or holding companies and morph into active companies, going through our immigration process, going through the process with the Bermuda Monetary Authority, going through the process with the Registry of Companies to make a plan to go and put boots on the ground here in Bermuda.
Minister Kane said there is an education plan being set up.
Phase 3 is a phase that most people are not going to see and understand. We have to get Bermuda incorporated, moms, dads, children. We have to get them ready for this process. What does that mean? Yesterday, Mike, I saw Dr. Green from the Bermuda College, people from Department of Workforce Development. They were in a room together with our legal consultant, and they were putting together an education plan to how we can roll this out in schools, how we can roll this out into community. What is the point of putting this together when Bermudians cannot benefit from the process?
I'm Mike Sharp with Bermuda Broadcasting News.
So in other words, watch this space. Well, teens are breaking their silence about the pressures of social media, cyberbullying, and mental illness in their daily lives. It's part of the Teen Mental Health Summit, which took place today at Cedar Bridge Academy, hosted by the Bermuda Mental Health Foundation. It's a subject no one wants to talk about, and teens often are misunderstood. But students from each high school, both private and public, came together to find better ways for them to cope with mental health problems.
Have you had low self-esteem or felt worthless, rejected, helpless, or hopeless? Please stand up if you ever have. Don't be afraid. This is just to see, you're not alone.
It's led by the students themselves, in which they confront real problems such as drugs and alcohol abuse, cyberbullying, violence, and suicide prevention.
I'm happy that we get to talk about mental illness itself and get rid of the stigma that's around it, because I think it's a very important thing that a lot of students go through. So to have a discussion with the students instead of just adults just talking at us and not listening to what we have to say, I think it's very nice.
Even though troubles may go unnoticed by adults, the kids are certainly aware of it.
I've witnessed someone. I was in a play once, and this girl would run off every time she finished because she had panic attacks. It was just really, really bad. So yeah.
The theme is it's okay not to be okay, a powerful statement to those who may feel alone in the world with their problems. One educator has seen a rise in anxiety-based problems among students affecting girls and boys. She says more cases of this suggest social media may be to blame.
I think that, the Snapchat, the Instagram, those kind of things, I really do think put a lot of pressure on the students to be perfect, to have the perfect life when you're constantly seeing those images of perfection every day when you look at your phone. I think that's really hard to measure up to that. But obviously there are other things, exam pressure, school pressure, life pressure. We live in different times.
Teens will debate to identify the obstacles preventing them from getting the help they need.
We try to make decisions or figure out solutions for teens without even asking them. Some of the things that Mid-Atlantic Wellness and other agencies has found are that teens are reluctant to even ask for services, ask for help. And so today we want to find out what's their understanding about mental illness and why they're not asking for help, and what we need to do as adults and professionals to get them more actively involved with their mental well-being.
There are signs that the policymakers and political influencers are listening, and young people also are keen to join the conversation.
I just kind of wanted to learn a little more about mental health, so that if I find someone later in life that struggles with a disorder related to mental health, I know how to help them.
Youth has been the topic of this year's Mental Health Week, which ends today. However, based on the level of participation, it's something teens and adults are ready to face head-on. And taking a look at weather, let's enjoy this beautiful sunset as seen on our tower cam before winds gradually pick up this evening and we have some possible showers tomorrow as a front passes over the weekend. Here's the latest from AccuWeather.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
This AccuWeather forecast here on ZBM is brought to us by our friends at the BF&M Insurance Group. We have a little bit of rain on its way, as here you can find Michael pulling east and northeast through the Canadian Maritimes, but there's a front generally attached to the southern part of that storm system, and that band of rain is going to be influencing our local forecast as we get into the weekend. We also have Leslie, which has been a long-lasting hurricane at this point, and then Nadine. Nadine is on its last legs, a pretty ragged appearance there on the satellite, but Leslie's going to impact the Iberian Peninsula. That's Portugal and Spain this weekend. As we take a look at what's going on a little closer to home here, again, we do have that stripe of extra cloud cover approaching from the west, and that is going to be an issue for us if you're trying to do anything outside this weekend, especially as we get into Saturday night and Sunday. We'll need to at least be aware of the threat of rain in the neighborhood. 79 degrees right now. Humidity is holding at around 70%. A breeze is active from the southwest at 15 knots as we await the arrival of this front. And the water temps up around 79 degrees right now. On the inside, waves are around 2 feet, but we have 5 to 8 footers around the perimeter of the island. So tonight, breezy, partly cloudy out there, 74 your anticipated low, and there is a small craft warning that continues through Saturday evening because of these winds that are creating some more agitated waves. So it's not the best time for the boaters out there. Just be aware of that small craft warning that remains in effect for the first half of the weekend. So we recently had a low tide. High tide will be at 11:50 tonight. Tide goes back out early Saturday morning, and then it comes back in. A high tide at 12:15, middle of the day on Saturday, probably before the rain actually rolls in. So there will be a few showers around on Saturday, but the later into the day we go, the better the chances will be for rain, and it will be breezy. Highs around 82. So here we go with Futurecast. You can see there's Michael, and it's no longer truly a tropical system. And then we also have, as we'll spin the clock forward, that'll move to the north and east. But this stripe of rain will slowly advance, and the best chance for rain will be near the end of the day. You can see it barely moves, but it will eventually park itself over our heads. So we're looking at an increasing chance for rain. Down into the Caribbean, scattered thunderstorms in Jamaica. Barbados, scattered showers. Trinidad's running warm with scattered showers. And our tropical systems at this point, with Michael now no longer tropical, Hurricane Leslie approaching Portugal, and Tropical Storm Nadine, which is fizzling out over the eastern Atlantic. It is much cooler across most of eastern North America, except for Miami. Atlanta's down to 74, feeling more like fall finally. Toronto, New York, Boston running more like November as opposed to October here, with temperatures below average in many areas. Just a couple of showers here and there in New York and Boston. So we'll be wettest late Saturday evening into Sunday, and then we'll see some improvements with that sunshine gradually returning. Have a great weekend. We're going to send it back to you.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
My name is Kevin Roberts. I'm a taxi driver / ambassador. My father's with BF&M, so am I. Half of my family always been seen to be with Bermuda Fine Marine. I tried a different provider at one time, but I wasn't too happy with the competition, because back then it took too long to settle claims. They questioned every claim, and I never really had that problem with BF&M. I'm quite happy with it.
I was first diagnosed as a diabetic back in 2000. I was 222 pounds. I used to feel sickly all the time, like a lot of ailments, back pains, this. We meet as a group, as well as we do have individual one-on-one consultations with the doctor.
This is just providing guidance upon the type of healthy foods that will help people better manage and hopefully reverse their diabetes.
But the group setting gives you encouragement, you get feedback. You know, if you see somebody out in the street, hey, how you doing? How you making out?
The aim of the one-year program is to provide that support, to try and make it as easy as possible for people to make those changes.
I had lost 22 pounds. I was going on. Now I'm feeling a lot more comfortable. I feel like you actually do feel lighter. you feel more energized.
If you're a diabetic and you say, I really would like to get a better control on this, such patients who have that type of motivation, this is an ideal program for them.
New Toyota Rush, Bermuda's biggest SUV with 7 seats. There's always plenty of room. Available at Bermuda Motors.
Let's talk about Wednesday, that often overlooked day of the week. Well, it's gone luxe thanks to 2 local entrepreneurs. In this week's Bright Ideas segment, Tony Waterman goes for a wind down.
It's as pleasing to the palate as the iteration is to the ear.
Well, welcome to Wind Down Wednesday.
I'm excited to see what's on offer tonight.
Denzel Nelson and his business partner, Kashai Ming, have turned Whingy Wednesdays into a mid-week winner.
We have a Chardonnay blend and a Garnacha red.
With the wine, violinist, DJ, and array of drinks, you wouldn't know Wind Down Wednesdays is more experiment than main event.
I needed a product to be able to showcase my thesis, my business thesis, essentially, which is to create content or an experience, build a community around it, and then to sell people stuff.
The weekly event attracts dozens of people. Locations vary, as does the entertainment and wine, which patrons can buy at a discount. But for these millennial entrepreneurs, community building is the key to success. And they're taking direct marketing to a whole new level.
We have real conversations. Imagine DMing 500 to 1,500 people and having real conversations with them. Hey, what's up? Nice shoes.
You hope for that community exists on social media. That is where the engagement exists. And that's kind of where the business lives when there's no event happening.
Or when their event only happens once a year, like National Rosé Day Bermuda. The Luxed Out June event was a first for the island, tapping into summer's trendiest tipple and targeting the wine's near cult-like following.
We're not just creating this event in Bermuda for Bermudians, but we're looking to bring people from the East Coast of the United States here.
Destination experiences.
To create destination experiences.
The event's 420 guests attracted the attention of Sweden's Bodvar House of Rosés, which has now partnered with the duo to promote their wine. Champagne Barons de Rothschild is also keen to work with the pair. In the meantime, Denzel and Kashai are keeping Wednesdays in Bermuda an event to look forward to.
To Wind Down Wednesday.
So it's the Wind Down Wednesday.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
And still to come, Earl Basin will have all the latest sports news in just a few minutes.
You can count on us.
Save $2.50 on beefsteak tomatoes, only $2.49 per pound. Fresh assorted pork chops, $3.49 per pound. Bermuda's Best canola or vegetable oil, 48-ounce bottle, hot price $4.29. Scott chooses size paper towels, one roll, $2.79. Save $3 on King Hawaiian sliced bread, 16-ounce loaf, hot price $5.99. All stores open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
Bassett Custom Designs by you at Furniture Walk. So, how do you like it? Choose your arm style, then select your pieces. Special order exactly what you want. Your style, your way. Sofa, love seat, chair, sectional, you name it. Bassett, your style, your way at Furniture Walk.
Now, Earl Baisden has the very latest from the sports desk.
With what was supposed to be an exciting day in Argentina for Clemente Lodge Bean, as the track and field portion of the Youth Olympics got underway, turned out to be a disaster. With temperatures under 60 degrees and raining, Lodge Bean took off in Heat 4 of the men's 400 meters Stage 1 race. 10 seconds into the race, and Lodge Bean went down with what is being described as a hamstring pull. Lodge Bean was taken to the medical tent and then to the hospital for a scan to find out the extent of the injury. Madeline Moore and Kai Legban were both in action in the pool for the final time at the Youth Olympic Games. Moore just missed out on a women's 50-meter freestyle semifinal spot when she finished 6th in Heat 5, touching the wall in a time of 26.81. That time saw her finish 21st overall. Legban would finish the men's 100-meter freestyle 29th overall, this after recording a time of 52.21 that placed him 5th in Heat 3. Trey Mallory continued competing in the Curacao Open Tennis Tournament, playing in the boys singles 18 division. Mallory, ranked 8th, was playing in the quarterfinals. In his quarterfinal match, Mallory went down to the number 1 seed, Alfredo Casso, from the United States of America in straight sets, 6-1, 7-6. Mallory would then team up with Felipe Marcelina from the Netherlands in the doubles. After receiving a first round bye, the pair took on Santiago Diaz Talavera from Mexico and Emilio Sanchez from Spain in their quarterfinal battle. Mallory and Marcelina would advance in straight sets, winning 6-1, 7-6. Recently, at the IOC session in Buenos Aires, the Athletes' Rights and Responsibilities Declaration was approved. Patrick Singleton, who is a member of the Athletes Commission, explained how it came about.
It was an initiative driven by the IOC Athlete Commission. We had a steering committee of 20. We engaged over 4,000 athletes from 190 countries and 120 different sports, so there was a wide participation. And it's really fantastic because it's athlete-led, and it's looking at integrity. It's looking at the responsibility of athletes to ensure clean sport, safe sport. It's looking at a due process to ensure that athletes are fairly treated. So there's a wide range of topics, and we don't want to discriminate against people based on their age or their gender or their nationality and so forth. So it's setting down in a set of principles what we wish to follow and the rights and responsibilities of athletes around the world.
The Amarita Cup is one of the oldest team racing trophies in existence, having first been sailed in 1939 between the Royal Bermuda Yacht Club, now Bermuda team, and the United States team. The race was created to take place in the new International One Design boat. This particular race has laid dormant for the past several years, and Bermuda is thrilled to start up the competition yet again. Sailing will get underway at 11 a.m. in the Great Sound on Saturday, October 13th, and will conclude on Sunday, October 14th. The race format is 3 boats versus 3 boats, and the best 4 out of 7 races will win the trophy. Sebastian Kemp competed in the 2018 Optimus New England Championships. A total of 208 boats went to the start line for the regatta, with Kemp flying the flag all alone for Bermuda. A total of 5 races were sailed, with Kemp finishing 4th overall with 13 net points. Kemp will record finishes of 3rd place in the first race, 9th in the second, 4th in the 3rd and 4th races, and then he closed out with a 2nd place finish in the 5th and final race. Maha Clark and her Queen's University of Charlotte women's field hockey teammates completed its 2-game road trip in Pennsylvania, falling 5-0 to Mercyhurst University. The Somersby Men's Classic Boating League moved into its 6th week, with Team Amstel falling 18.5 to 11.5 to Phones Plus. The new mix-ups went down 21-9 to Goslin's Black Seal, while the TBI High Speeders went down 22-8 to Team Relive, and Team Metro went down 26-4 to Team Unsponsored. I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Thanks, Earl, and that's our program for tonight. We hope you've enjoyed the show. I'm Jasmine Patterson. Have a great weekend.
Jasmine Patterson's wardrobe and makeup is provided by Gibbons Company.